ma'am.
Yes,
Yeah.
welcome Vishwas. Samir, take over.
Yeah,
I'm just starting the session. I will be introducing the Clarinet platform and then I will hand over to Samir, sir.
sure,
Okay,
absolutely.
sir. With all your permission, I'm starting this session.
Yeah, you can start.
Good morning, everyone present here. I am Faraz from Clarinet. Clarinet is very proud to be a part of this session as a digital partner. Clarinet is India's largest live digital CME platform where doctors generate medical content. With all of you, I'm presenting a short video on Clarinet. Thank you so much all doctors for watching the video, and you all are requested to visit our website, that is www.clarinet.com, where you can watch lots of live sessions conducted by expert doctors across the globe. And we have MedWiki service, which is medical Wikipedia for doctors only, that you can also read. By taking not much time, I would like to invite and hand over this session to Dr. Samir Shah, sir. Over to you, sir. Kindly proceed from here.
So before starting today's session, my just greetings and many happy returns of the day to Dr. Swati Bhave madam for today, her birthday. And we are starting our today's session. So dear friends, on behalf of the AKI, myself Dr. Samir Shah, AKI National Coordinator, along with my co-MOC Dr. Sandeep Kavre, welcomes you all in our today's Padma Bhushan awardee, late Dr. Adi Lele Oration 2023 on this digital platform of Clarinet. As you know, we are organizing this oration since 2021, and this is a third in a row to give tribute to our founder chairman on his birthday. We are lucky that Sir was present during those two orations. This time also, I am sure that we are lucky enough to get his blessings from the heaven. If I am sharing my screen to start the proceedings. The first oration was given by our none other than Dr. Anuradha Suwani madam on holistic health of the children and young adults, the role of the parents, teacher and grandparents, followed by the second oration in 2022 by the Lieutenant General Madhuri Connector madam on war against the COVID. And today we are lucky that we having a doyen of the pediatric Dr. Y.K. Ambedkar sir as an orator, and he is going to speak on medicine, a science of health, not just disease. And we are lucky enough to having a Dr. Bakul Jain Parekh sir as a chief guest, president of IAP 2020, and Dr. Upendra Kinjwadekar, president IAP 2023, current president, as a guest of the honor. Once again, I welcome you all on behalf of AKI. And as you know, as per our Indian tradition, we are starting our program with a lamp lightning.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
And as we know, any program will not able to start with the Saraswati Vandana. So we are lucky enough to having a Saraswati Vandana by the niece of Sir Mrs. Jaise Ranade.
थोड़ा स्टॉप हो गया.
या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युत शङ्कर प्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापहा.
So, dear friends, as you know, due to the avoid the technical glitches, our team has worked hard to make the majority of the things with a recording prior ready, but few things will be remaining live. And I thanks our team who are making the effort to keep everything digitally recorded as to avoid the technical glitches. Now I requesting our present chairman, Dr. Yaswant Bhave, sir, to say a few words before I start this recording. Sir.
Yashwant, please unmute.
Yeah, indeed, I'm very happy to be, of course, a part of this program. After the guidance of Dr. Lele as the chairman, I took over, and I'm fully aware that I may have stepped into his shoes, but I can now proceed with the actual introduction and message which he has with him. Thank you.
Right, sir. So I am just starting the message that will be recorded by the Mr. Yaswant Bhave, sir, on today's occasion.
Friends, we have assembled today under the pall of Dr. Lele not being with us for this third oration in his honor. He has been a guiding force for all of us for the past so many years. An intellectual giant, he was truly a traveler on the path of knowledge. Knowledge was his love. He never stopped acquiring new vistas of knowledge. He received many accolades and laurels that he ever wore lightly on his shoulders. Nor did he pause a moment to look back to rest on these past laurels. He did not go after worldly glitters except for knowledge. He was a true description and embodiment of what the philosopher poet Allama Iqbal has said, "तू राह नवर्द शौक है मंजिल न कर कबूल लैला भी हम नशी हो तो महमिल न कर कबूल." I am also grateful to Dr. Ambekar for agreeing to deliver this oration. Dr. Bakul Parekh and Dr. Khinjwadekar have been kind enough to spare their time and be with us today. All have known Dr. Lele for a long time. We shall be eagerly looking forward to hearing from them. All of us are aware of his numerous writings. These have been mostly on medicine, computers, as well as Ayurveda. But it may come as a surprise, at least to some, that even for astrology, he was truly agnostic. But he wanted a kind of evidence-based foundation thereof. Finally, the culmination of his vast knowledge, intellect, wisdom, and insights was to be a non-technical book, History of Modern Medicine. He has been there, seen it all, gave personal lessons, and that is why he was best suited to author a book of this dimension. His final departure is truly shocking. He has left a void in the intellectual firmament that is impossible to fill in. It is as if he proceeded to his final journey as if to further explore new frontiers of knowledge, new horizons, and new worlds. तू शाही है, परवाज है काम तेरा, तेरे सामने आसमां और भी है, सितारों के आगे जहां और भी है, अभी इश्क के इम्तिहां और भी है. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the excellent speech. So now it's my turn to introduce our own work of the AKI as a being a national coordinator, and I am sharing for that my digital presentation. Respected seniors and friends, as a AKI national coordinator, I have the privilege to give a quick introduction of the AKI and its activity. AKI, Association of the Adolescent and Childcare in India, was registered in 2007 and launched in 2008 in Mumbai at the hands of MP Milind Devra in presence of Sheriff of Mumbai Indu Sahani. There was a release of AKI publication, frequently asked questions for parents. There was a public awareness program on prevention of lifestyle diseases, followed by workshops on life skill education for the students and parenting skill for the parents. Our mission is holistic health of children, adolescents, and young adults through the two pillars of their life, that is parents and teachers. We have added one more pillar, that is grandparents, from 2020. We promote healthy lifestyle to prevent non-communicable diseases. We are a group of doctors, including mainly pediatricians and physicians of all the specialties, including mental health professionals. We also have volunteers from all stakeholders of child and adolescent health, including parents, teachers, lawyers, sports physiotherapists, research scientists, etc. We do mainly urban-based work with parents, teachers and students in schools and colleges. We have recently started travel project also. Key people in our board of directors are our chairperson, Mr. Yashwant Bhave, our executive director, respected Dr. Swati Bhave madam, our secretary cum treasurer, Mrs. Salmina Lere, myself, Dr. Samir Shah is national coordinator, and Dr. Surekha Joshi, our research coordinator. We have our own registered ethical committee chaired by respected Dr. Anuradha Sowani madam. Our four forums, including the youth, parents, teachers and grandparents, are headed by the four senior pediatricians across the country. We have 11 centers, including 5 city and 5 regional centers and 1 international forum, with a well-established hierarchy and protocols. Now, with the help of our nationwide spread more than 200 volunteers, AKI collaborate with the International Adolescent Health Week and celebrate it in March every year since 2020. We have also started celebrating AKI Week after completion of the 15 years in 2022 in the July month when AKI was started. We focused on with a special community oriented themes to help our adolescent and young adult. We have a well-established media presence on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. We have our own two websites that include www.aki.in and akitrainingprograms.com. We have no membership fee and anyone can join as a volunteer and work with Aki if accepted by our volunteer committee. We have over 200 plus volunteers from the different part of the India working actively for the AKI with their status reviewed annually. AKI has been involved in many international activities also. In 2019, AKI hosted an international advanced training certificate course in adolescent health with Western Michigan State University of USA and D.Y. Patil Vidyapit Pune. Our youth forum team had gone to the Paris in 2018, led by Dr. Selja Mane, to work with the French Adolescent Society and participated in pre-conference workshop in 11th World Congress of Adolescent Health. In 2021 November, Aki conducted a session on life skill education in the 12th World Congress led by the Dr. Samir Shah. Dr. Swati Bhave was global co-leader for 2020 and 21 to conduct the International Adolescent Week. Dr. Swati Bhave, Executive Director, has been invited to share the work done by Aki in youth and parenting many national and international forums and also WHO consulting meetings. Aki has won lot of awards in different categories of community work, including the awareness and education of prevention of NCD in young people, parenting program, and holistic programs for adolescents' welfare. Since inception, Aki senior faculties have presented many papers at national and international forums and won many awards. We mentor young people in the Aki Youth Forum and they also have presented papers and won awards. Aki has many publications and training modules for parents, teachers, students and doctors. You can get more details on our website. Our life skill education program is a uniquely conceptualized module for children and adolescents. Parenting programs and workshops are regularly held by Aki at various places including the school and community level. Aki conducts programs for all socio-economic groups and various streams of education. Even during the last 2 years in lockdown, Aki has been actively conducted over 100 plus webinars each year on various forums and topics. Aki is founder member of Healthy India Alliance for NCD Prevention and shares Aki work in various consultative meetings also. This is a big honor for the Aki as it is recognized as civil society doing commendable work with NCD prevention. During the year 2022 also, our volunteers work deeply involved in many community-oriented activities locally. We have also conducted nationwide activities also, which includes International Adolescent Health Week celebration in March. We having an international forum program organized by our Nagpur center that will topic of ultra high risk for psychosis. We have one theme-based Aki Week celebration this year in July with a theme of protect yourself, say no to anger and bullying in children. Our ABC module conducted very well in many schools throughout all over the India. With a tribute to our former chairman Dr. R.D. Lele sir. We also conducted and implemented dealing with a puberty and menstrual issue module during last year. Few more modules are in pipeline for this year, including the Empowering Adolescent Girl Defending Herself and ABC module on awareness and education about the mother's milk and exclusive breastfeeding. We have given tribute to our founder chairman Dr. R.D. Lele in our Aki Week celebration in July between 18 to 24 and meeting today again in our third oration of Dr. R.D. Lele. Let's move further for today's activity. So now I hand over the mic to our respected Executive Director, Dr. Swati Bhave Madam, for further proceeding before I start her presentation on introduction of Dr. R.D. Lele.
Thank you, Samir. Today, I really have got very, very mixed emotions, a feeling of extreme sadness that my father, Dr. Lele, is not here to hear the third oration. But as Samir said, souls never die. And I'm sure he's there with us in spirit. And if he's in heaven, I can imagine he must be taking heaven by storm, starting some innovative activities to make betterment in heaven. He was very happy to know Dr. Ambedkar will be delivering this oration. because he has a lot of affection and respect and known Dr. Ambedkar for many years. He was also very happy to hear Bakul Parekh and Kinjwadekar's name because he knows that IIP is my first love and the amount of activities I still continue doing. I'm very happy that we had decided, Mr. Bhave conceptualized this oration in 2021, that we'll do it in the month of January. His birthday is 16 January, so that Sunday or any Sunday which falls after that. And I'm especially fortunate that this year, 22nd January was a Sunday, which was convenient to all the three VIPs. And this is one of the best presents I could have got for my 71st birthday. It would have been very difficult to find a replacement to replace his giant shoes as Aki chairman. But we were very fortunate that Mr. Yashwant Bhave joined as Vice President Aki in the year 2019. And he has been very actively involved with Aki activities since then. And it was very easy for him to slip into this position and continue guiding us. Knowing our ability for research and being doctors, I was not that good in statistics. In the last 3 years, he self-learned various statistical packages. And today he heads our Aki Research Forum and helps our statistical research. After the oration, every year we have an informal session where those people who want to continue can join as family, friends, relatives to interact with Dr. Lele. This year, it will not be an interaction with him, but a memory sharing. Some of you have already sent a lot of write-ups which Dr. Sandeep Kaude has compiled and will be shared. So, can you start the...
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, everybody. It is my proud privilege to introduce our Aki chairman, Padma Bhushan awardee, Dr. R.D. Lele. It is not easy to condense into a few slides the 94-year journey of Dr. Lele. So the full PPT has been loaded on the Aki website. And today I will be showing a few glimpses. I have been associated with Dr. Lele in 3 capacities. I have been very proud and privileged to be his daughter and receive his parenting. I have also been a student at Grand Medical College when he was Professor of Medicine and the Dean. And for the last 15 years, he's been guiding us as the chairman for Aki. Dr. Lele did his MBBS from Usmania University and he studied all the textbook in English but wrote in Urdu. And that's why he's very proficient in Urdu Shairi. He went to England and did his MRCP and DTMH after working in a village called Gangapur near Hyderabad because he had to make the finances for going there. And in 1967, he did a fellowship of nuclear medicine in Canada. And he left the lucrative offer which he got at Canada saying, you will get many people in nuclear medicine for Canada, but I have come here to set up nuclear medicine in my country and I should go back. And he's known as a pioneer, a father of nuclear medicine, and has set up nuclear medicine departments in many medical colleges in the country and the state-of-art nuclear medicine department at Jaslok. He was holding positions of Dean JJ, Director Jaslok, in charge of the nuclear medicine at Lilavati Hospital, and many, many more. Those who really want to know about his inspiring life journey can see his autobiography, Pursuit of Excellence, which is available both in English and in Marathi. And it was released by API in 2010. And the Marathi version was released 2 years later. At 93 years, he had the privilege of having his book release of History of Medicine in India by the Center Council for Research and Ayurvedic Sciences, Ministry of Ayush. The book was released by Rajiv Kumar, Vice Person Niti Aayog, in the august presence of Sri Kiren Rinju, the Ministry of Youth Affairs and MOS for Ayush. This is not available in print copy, but those who are interested can contact me. I can share the PDF. Some of his awards, there's a huge list. Honorary degree of Doctor of Science, Homi Bhabha Awards, APA Association of Physicians Award, Lifetime Achievement Award from Nuclear Medicine. And the picture of he receiving Padma Bhushan and the Dhanvantari Award. A lot of recognitions and working with VIPs around the country. The Vishwanathan's National Excellent Award in Medicine for teaching and medical care. And this is on his 80th, 90th birthday, where we had kept a collage of all his books on a table. There is no subject which Dr. Lele has not covered. Computers in medicine, nuclear medicine, clinical approach and clinical research, which has gone into 4th edition. Books on ancient Indian medicine. He's one of the few allopathic doctors who respected ancient medicine and talked to the Ayurveda and the homeopathy and wrote books on it. He tried very hard to bring them on board to do evidence-based trials, but unfortunately that did not work out. He also was very good in the legal aspects and have written books for medical profession and the law. Two of these were published by the Rotary. He was a very well-known Rotarian, getting the Paul Harris Award and distinguished awards in a lot of his Rotary activities. This is a picture of Grand Medical College 125th celebration, where Boman Irani came and addressed all of us in the famous anatomy hall, which was picturized in Mundabhai MBBS. And you can see me in the audience with my batchmates, and here Boman Irani and Dr. Lele interacting. He was not only just known for his academic excellence and lectures, but he was a very popular figure in social functions where his witty lectures and shairi were very much appreciated. And when forced by his students to come on the dance floor, he also enjoyed dancing. He was a complete man, as they say in Raymond's advertisements. And my mother, late Dr. Sunita Lele, was his sahacharani, ardhangini, and a life partner in every respect. And I remember that she went with my father to every conference of API and nuclear medicine, whether it was India and abroad. And that was the time I got a lesson how to balance your professional life and private life. Because Dr. Lele's birthday is on 16th January and mine on 26th January. And very often, if the dates clashed, we had to celebrate our birthday before or after the conference. And my mom has been there for us as an excellent mother model, which I try to emulate. And we have been blessed that though my mom passed away early, Dr. Lele is still with us at the age of 94. And here is the picture with his grandchildren and his great granddaughter, and of course, all of us with our spouses. We celebrated his 80th birthday, where we could call most of his colleagues and students. And we also celebrated his 90th birthday, where we had his little great granddaughter interact with him.
Madam, you can start from here. Swati, madam.
Yeah. So this was a recorded lecture which I'd made in 94 with my chronic laryngitis. I requested Sami to play the same one. Dr. Lele went to his heavenly abode suddenly on 24th June. Coincidentally, my mother also died on the same date, 24th, but in the month of July in 2003. This is his latest photo in May, and this is his photo recording his message for the Dr. Lele Oration 2022. And we was going to do the same this time, but it was not to be. Next. As we teach in Aki workshops how to translate grief into constructive action, so the Lele Bhave family and Aki, we decided not to mourn his loss, but to rejoice his 94.5-year journey and carry on his legacy. So Yashwant Bhave has conceptualized the Dr. Lele Aki oration, which we are going to continue every year. Samir Shah conceptualized the Aki week last year, which will continue every year, held by Sandeep Kaude and Pradeep and Prashant Karya. Was very keen that we do some good community research, and this along with our research coordinator, Dr. Surekha Joshi, and our advisor, Dr. Anuradha Sowani, has been very active. Next. So in this year, February 2022, we conducted a multi-centric research in 5 cities, Pune, Nagpur, Pune, Mumbai, Aurangabad, Surat, and Vadodara, in schools and colleges on self-esteem and exam anxiety. And we have been presenting papers on this since July. In July, Niti Soni won a gold medal, Prashant won the 3rd prize, and Sandeep won the appreciation award. Next. We also presented in other conferences, in Asian Congress, Life Skill Education Conference. Next. And recently, Niti, yesterday presented a Latur conference, and Samir's COVID has been accepted as a poster in IPA Congress. Next. When we had these presentations, Dr. Lele would never stop learning. And in 2006, when we had the first textbook of adolescent medicine, which he wrote a foreword, and I was honored by giving my name as Bhavesh textbook of adolescent medicine. He read the book from first to last page, that was 1100 pages. And then he got interested into adolescent medicine. And every research paper which we did, he discussed the results, the interpretations, and gave his own insights. So from 2008 to 2012, after every conference, we translated them into publications. But after I moved to Pune and I had a lot of health issues, somehow this publication stopped. And my father was very upset all the time. And he said, Swati, why are you not finding time to finish this research publications? So after he passed away in June, I took this as my mission, that I will complete all this backlog of research data. And by the end of his first anniversary, that is 24th June, we want to finish all our research papers. And Dr. Anuradha Sowani roped in her past psychology postgraduates. And we 3 have been working with Surekha very hard for the last 6 months to bring this into fulfillment. Next. So our first paper was published in the APA journal, Asian Journal of Pediatric and Child Health, on self-efficacy of school children for making choices. In Indian Journal of Adolescent Youth and Adolescent Health, Understanding Pattern of Adolescent Nutrition, Behavior and Lifestyle. Next. Our papers on NCD. We did a project of NCD prevention and awareness in D.Y. Patil Medical College along with Shailaja Mane, which is an ongoing project. And this paper has been recently accepted for publication. And we are getting a lot of acceptance for publications. Next. We decided to have a holistic view of adolescent health. And hence, we have a large number of publications on mental health issues, on physical issues, on parenting, and all these are getting published. And we are very happy that our team is working very hard on this. Next. 3 of us siblings, my sister Madhumati, Vikram, and me, in our own way, are trying to continue his legacy. My sister Madhumati has excelled in the corporate world. And just this year, she broke the male bastion of the prestigious Cricket Club of India by becoming the first woman president. And my brother had a special bond with his father, not only as a son, but he is carrying forward his legacy in nuclear medicine. And this is something which my father and they really enjoyed discussing, not just as father and son, but as 2 nuclear medicine experts. And Vikram has taken this forward in a much bigger way by starting many firsts in the nuclear medicine department. And we are very proud that he's become like Baap se beta savai. Next.
Madam, from this, I will just presenting the video that is presented by the Vikram sir on tribute to Dr. Lele sir.
My father, Padma Bhushan, Dr. R.D. Lele, was a very tall man. Tall not only in height, but also in stature, in his thoughts, in his vision. And as per all the pioneers, he faced several challenges because of this. He was far ahead of his times. And I remember when I joined MBBS and I finished MD in 1986, MRI had just been introduced into on our planet actually. And he realized that this was a very fantastic modality and would revolutionize the imaging environment. So he encouraged me that time to get into MRI. But for whatever reasons I didn't, and he's proved to be so correct that MRI is now one of the most powerful imaging modalities. So he has been always a visionary, and his thought processes were way ahead in future. He realized the potential of various things, and I'm glad that my sister, Dr. Swati Bhave, who I think has inherited several of his sterling qualities, she is keeping his memory alive by constituting this oration or R.D. Lele oration in the ACHI. I've also instituted the R.D. Lele oration in the ANMPI, the Association of Nuclear Medicine Physicians of India, where we meet annually for our conferences, and several eminent speakers have delivered the oration in his memory now. And I think the several books which he has written, which are a testimony to his manifold interest, will surely help to keep his legacy and his memory alive in the years to come.
So, thanks to the Vikram sir for giving the overview of the what the son said about the father. So now it's a time to start our oration formally, and for that I just invite our Youth Forum in charge, Dr. Prashant Karya, to introduce our guest of honor, Dr. Upendra Kinjwadekar.
Yes, Samir. Before that, I would just make some introductory
Yeah.
comments. So, Aki is really privileged to have the current president IIP 2023 as the guest of honor. I have seen his work over the last many years. His dynamism, his oratory, his organization skills will usher a new era in the Diamond Jubilee year of IIP. He's like Peter Pan, never aging. He looks like a college boy for the last 20 years, which I've seen him. But of course, he's matured in his thoughts and his this. Dr. Lele was very happy to see his name because his father, Dr. S.P. Kinjwadekar, did his medicine from Poddar Medical College, Varali, and was the founder member of National Integrated Medical Association, and believed that both modern and Ayurvedic medicine have a definite role to play in modern medicine. And in one of the forums, both of them were speakers, and both of them had the same ideas that our ancient system of medicine had to be relooked into, and the work of Sushruta and Charak was way ahead of time. So we both share the legacy of having parents who wanted to integrate modern medicine and Ayurveda, and I'm very happy to have him as a guest of honor. Prashant, can you go ahead with the formal introduction, please?
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. It's really an honor to introduce Dr. Upendra Kinjwadekar, President of Central IIP. As ma'am already said, he looks like a college boy. I will say if he was not a pediatrician, he must be a Bollywood actor. So next slide, please. I thought that how to introduce Upendra Kinjwadekar, it's a difficult task. So I thought, let me take his name for introduction, Upendra. So U stands for what? Next, please. U stands for ultra leader. He is a leader of leaders. At present, he is leading 40,000 IAPs, being a
Just a minute.
Sorry for the first technical glitch. I think, Prashant, you must be having the whole thing in your mind. So if there's a glitch, you can still go ahead.
Prashant's voice is not at all clear. Hello, Prashant.
Prashant, I think having internet connection problem.
Yeah, he is apparently at inauguration at. So let I introduce the Upendra.
Yeah.
On behalf of him. Already he said you for I think his publication.
Yeah.
Has. Hello.
Yeah. Hello. Hello.
Yes, you can.
Am I clear now?
Yes, yes.
So the publications, when we talk, he is having a many publications, but the one which actually is useful for everybody is Dr. Ek Vicharu. The presentation, I mean the book on the common queries of patients, which was answered very clearly, and it won an award from Maharashtra Sahitya Academy in 2014. E for the energetic person, energy of Upendra, which is contagious. I mean, we can say that, next slide please, whoever comes in a contact with Dr. Upendra Kinjwadekar will be feeling the gush of energy and will be able to finish the work. So that is E. If I talk about the N, then we call him as a nutrition man. He has done a wonderful work by launching a module on nutrition, given a many talks on nutrition in infants and children, and that is the most important pillar of early childhood development, and he has developed that also. So that is N for nutrition man. D for the diverse portfolio he is having. We all know him as a wonderful power orator. I mean, he is very good orator. He's a very good singer also. He's a reader and a writer also. And the most important thing, he has done many theaters also in Marathi. That is most important thing for me. R for the recipient of, I mean, we can say that he was a president of Navi Mumbai in 2009 to 12, president of Maha IP in 2013, and then now a Central IAP president. He got many orations which were given to him. The significance one were Sanjeev Rai Endowment Lecture in Mangalore in Pedicon 2016, S.K. Ghatak Memorial Oration, and first Dr. Anand Chandile Oration by the Murshidabad Academy. So that is what is R for him. There are so many achievements, but then if I say a last A of Upendra, that is always smiling, always supporting, and always a phone call away. So with this brief introduction, I present to you the guest of honor, Dr. Upendra Kinjwadekar. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Prashant, for giving a detailed introduction, because Upendra has just given this much introduction of him, and you have elaborated.
So thanks to Google and Dr. Samir Dalwai for giving me some basics. Yeah.
So now the forum is open for the Dr. Upendra Kinjwadekar for giving his guest free lecture.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much, Dr. Prashant Karia, Dr. Samir Shah, for that kind introduction. But before that, respected Dr. Swati Bhave Madam, a very happy birthday to you. You said you are turning 71, but I think you're just 17 with 54 years of experience. The adolescent of 17 cannot go beyond that. And I think your enthusiasm is always there, and you have so many plans to unfold for in coming years also. Amazing. Salutes to you, madam. Dr. Yashwant Bhave, sir, and all the family members of late Dr. R.D. Lele, sir, chief guest of today's function, my dear friend and past president of IIP, the digital man of IIP, Dr. Bakul Parekh, all the OBs of AKI, most respected Dr. Y.K. Amdekar, sir, Dr. Uday Bodhankar, sir, Dr. R.N. Srivastav, sir, Dr. Mrudula Phadke, madam, and all the dignitaries on and off the screen. At the outset, let me thank our Y2K 2000 IIP president, Dr. Swati Bhave, madam, for her kind invitation to participate in this awesome, prestigious event. So nice to be here. So all of us know that Dr. R.D. Lele was a great physician. We know that he was a research scientist, a champion of nuclear medicine, one who always was in pursuit of excellence, as everyone knows. So last year we could meet him virtually, though in the same program. We all miss his presence, physical presence today, but my most respectful regards to the divine soul. The oration is being delivered by yet another doyen of pediatrics, Dr. Y.K. Amdekar, sir. I'll say only one thing about sir. If anyone asks me, in fact, for anyone who is logged in today, a question that what was so special when you did your pediatric career? So I said all of us would answer in the same way, that we were all fortunate to listen to Dr. Y.K. Amdekar sir live. And I had the fortune of doing it for more than 3 decades. I distinctly remember the first one. It all started in 1988 when I was a resident at Sion Hospital. And there was a lecture series at Wadia. And sir spoke on understanding the pathophysiology of shock. And I was completely mesmerized, as that what happens to each one of us every time we listen to him, as it would happen. And then till date, he continues to teach us with the same zeal, same passion, same enthusiasm. So I pray for a long and healthy life to our dear sir. Dr. Amdekar sir delivering this oration is indeed a Dugdha Sharkara Yog that we call in Marathi. So Bhave madam has also asked me to express some thoughts about the in line with the health and disease. So I would say she has given some couple of introductory lines. Now, I always feel that health should be seen as a resource, in fact, a very, very valuable resource for human development. It is to some extent innate, I understand, but definitely requires fundamental efforts from the individual. action or lack of action can definitely have some positive and negative influences. All of us know that. So not doing anything or masterly inactivity, friends, is sometimes a strategy that we physicians adopt in our so many medical conditions. But in maintaining health, doing that is not ideal, doesn't have zero cost, but it may end up in paying very heavy price at some stage. So as the human race is evolving rapidly, so are the health concepts, which actually evolve as per the local norms of the culture. And now we understand that having good health is not only our fundamental human right, but also a social goal worldwide. It involves not only treating a disease, but taking care of patient, his or her anxiety, the psychological status that may affect the healing process. So it all is so important. So we started with a biomedical model. All of us know that the germ theory, the imbalance between the host, environment, and the bug. And our entire focus on modern medicine has been always on diagnosing and then treating the disease. Nothing wrong actually, but our current approach to treatment begins only after diagnosis and then attempts to treat the symptoms and prevent the progression, if we really get into the details of it. But despite this increased global healthcare spending, are we really creating healthy society? We have to ponder on that. So there has been an increasing incidence, severity of diseases pointing to impaired health of our population in general. So this progressive deterioration in general has created an unsustainable increase in healthcare costs that has hampered our economy. So vaccination for pediatricians was the main preventive strategy, but we used it, but only after the rise of NCDs, non-communicable diseases, that we have started focusing on promoting healthy lifestyle. And there comes the role of Ayurveda. Madam already talked about it. So Ayurveda has this core competency and strategy for prevention of disease. The definition of health, as WHO has said, everybody is aware of it, but it has to be really more specific, more clear, and should guide the healthcare provider how to achieve it. So in 1200 BC to 600 BC, Sushruta, the great surgeon and teacher of Ayurveda, interestingly, just listen to his definition of health that he said, it's a state of equilibrium, the three dosha, the Vata, Pitta, Kapha, the fundamental physiological principles governing a body, Agni, that is a metabolic and digestive process, and the Dhatu, the principle that upholds the formation of body tissues. Waste products have to be excreted well, and the sense organs, mind, and soul are in a state of bliss. That is what health is all about. So, careful look into this Ayurvedic definition, friends. It reveals that this definition not only talks about health, but includes a path to achieve it. According to Ayurveda, this evaluation starts with consciousness, creating 5 elements. We call it air, fire, water, earth, and space, of course. So Pancha Mahabhut that we call in Marathi. So these 5 elements in different combination, they create these 3 doshas, and we have to prevent it and strike a balance. So Ayurveda actually describes a disease at the phenotypic level, whereas we in modern medicine explain it at a genetic level. So Ayurvedic scholars thousands of years ago, they lacked the current technology. I understand the microscopy to identify these, but they bypassed this handicap by using phenotype to provide the personalized care to all patients. So today, modern medicine is just beginning to explore. Epigenetics is nothing else to how to administer treatments and drugs that are highly tailored to an individual genetic and chemical makeup and the lifestyle. So treating under 5 visors is the best example. We are trying to phenotypically treat rather than having a blanket treatment to all children. Slowly and surely it will come to other diseases, I feel. So I feel, as Dr. R.D. Lele sir and my dear father also felt the same way, that ancient system of medicine must have something to offer by which we physicians should be able to not only identify any disequilibrium in the patient's physiology, but guide the patient to re-establish this equilibrium and simultaneously identify and treat the disease. So this symbiotic approach with our ancient system of medicine in maintaining and restoring health is what would help everyone in the end. I would just end by saying, Sarve pi sukhinas santu, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyanti, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for this rolling the ball of the today's oration. With the excellent, your oration capacity is par excellent, we all know. And thanks for the guest lecture of today's presentation. Thank you, sir. So now it's time to address our guest of honor completed. So now it's time to introduce our chief guest, Dr. Bakul Pare. But before that, I hand over mic to Swati madam for few formal introduction of him.
Thank you. Dr. Bakul Parekh is known in IAP as the President 2020, who did not allow IAP activities to go into a shutdown when the country went into a COVID lockdown. He has revolutionized the IAP activities by launching the IAP digital platform, which ushered a new era into IAP. And even today, in spite of opening up, we all are still enjoying the digital learning. And I'm sure this will continue for years to come. But I know Bakul much before he joined IAP, and our friendship dates way back when we both met as parents. His daughter Malaika and my younger son Aditya Bhave were in the school national table tennis team of India. And we often met in the competitions, in the training camps as two parents. And you all know how it is when you have sports children, how the parents go up and down, over enthusiastic, depressed with the joys of their winning or losing. And we shared parenting tips from those days. So his and my friendship has stood the test of time, and I really count him amongst one of my genuine close friends. And I'm very happy that he always accepts Aki invitations. In the year 2019, when we had this International Advanced Training Adolescent Program with Michigan State University and D.Y. Patil, Bakul was the president, and he came all the way, president-elect, and he came all the way to be the chief guest for our teachers training program. And Bakul, I again thank you. In spite of you being busy as the IPA Congress, which is coming next month, you still found time to grace us as a chief guest. So now Dr. Sandeep Kavde will give the official introduction of our chief guest. Over to Sandeep.
Thank you, Dr. Swati.
So I thank Sandeep also for being a so busy schedule. He also able to give the brief introduction video of our chief guest, Dr. Bakul Parekh sir, and I am running that video.
A warm good morning to all the dignitaries and audience. On behalf of Aki, it gives me great honor to introduce the chief guest for today, Dr. Bakul Jayant Parekh sir. Sir is an MD Pediatrics and DCH from Mumbai University. He is Professor of Pediatrics at Bakul Parekh Children Hospital and Multi-Specialty Center, Ghatkopar. He is also CEO of BPCH and Multi-Specialty Center, which has nearly 50 beds of tertiary NICU and PICU. Sir has held many positions of eminence in Indian Academy of Pediatrics and international organizations. He was the Honorary Secretary General of South Asian Pediatric Association between 2018 to 20 and the National President of Central IAP in 2020. During Sir's times, lots of new academic initiatives were taken by IAP and they are even known today. Sir has more than 100 publications, awards and orations, and it will take hours to describe all of them. His main area of interest along with general pediatrics are infectious diseases, neonatology and intensive care. Not only this, Sir is a very good cricket player. He is a tabla player, a chess champion and even managing trustee of Mumbai Suburban Table Tennis Association. It gives me great pleasure to welcome Sir, and I request Dr. Bakul Parekh sir to kindly address this August gathering. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for the kind words. I will like to say pranam to my teacher and teacher of teachers, Dr. Y.K. Ambedkar sir. My special regards to Dr. Yaswant Bhave and Dr. Swati Bhave. And of course, I recognize the presence of my dear friend and National President, Diamond Jubilee National President 2023, Dr. Upendra Kinjwadekar, and my dear friend and past President, Dr. Bhotankar. And of course, I recognize the presence of Dr. R.N. Srivastav, Dr. Mudula Phadke, and so many other teachers and friends and colleagues on the platform. It gives me pleasure to be here as a chief guest for a special occasion, that is the oration in the name of Padma Bhushan Sri Dr. R.D. Lele, the late Dr. R.D. Lele. And I was amazed at looking at and hearing to whatever he has achieved all throughout his life. And he has shown the path to the Lele family, that is especially Dr. Swati and others who are following that path very diligently. And I wish all the best to Aki and Dr. Swati and others in the Lele family to carry forward this activity very energetically and enthusiastically as it was done by Dr. Lele in past. We are always with you whenever you need us, and we wish all the best to everybody. Thank you very much. And then I was told by Dr. Swati to give a small talk related to the topic today of the oration, that is health. So I thought of talking on something which I'm used to doing it, and that is to empower the medical field in terms of empowering the pediatricians and empowering the teachers so that we can have a very good and emphatic and effective medical treatment and medical care in our country. So I will request Dr. Samir to show my recorded talk.
Thank you, sir. I'm showing your recorded talk.
So hello everyone. My pranam to Dr. Ambedkar sir. Thank you, Aki, and specifically Dr. Swati for inviting me as a chief guest for this very special oration by our teacher, Dr. Ambedkar, in the name of the legendary figure Padma Shri Dr. R.D. Lele. I would like to share my vision for building an empowered medical system for the holistic management. I will discuss this in two parts. First will be empowering the pediatricians, and the one will be empowering the teacher. Empowering the pediatrician will be, if you know that always universally it is accepted a fact that it should be our aim to detect any condition early, intervene early, and start appropriate treatment in appropriate time for better outcomes in terms of morbidity and mortality. This also prevents overburdening of secondary and tertiary care. We can achieve this by transforming the pediatric clinics nationwide by bringing early detection and specialized intervention capabilities to the pediatricians at the point of care in their busy practice. Nowadays, we tend to refer a patient to a specialist most of the time. Or at times, we do not have a specialist in our neighborhood, we need to refer. Also, we know that patient or his or her parents have more faith in the regular pediatrician with whom they have developed a good rapport. So a pediatrician must be able to investigate, manage, prevent, and treat straightforward special conditions in his own clinic, and may need to refer a patient in time only for the complicated special conditions which cannot be managed at his clinic. To achieve this, a clinic needs tools which a pediatrician can use to send them to the patient to help patient understand the condition and thereby reach the clinic in time for early intervention and management. Also, tools are needed to connect pediatrician to the specialist for the guidance, thereby empowering the pediatrician to investigate. And for early detection and intervention, a pediatrician must get professional education across all subspecialties, and to use this knowledge at the point of care, education must be piped into the clinic as decision support in the busy clinic to reach the last mile in management. This can be in the form of screening tools and patient education material, which can be sent as personalized message on WhatsApp or by email, and manage the patient in his or her own clinic. And this also helps specialists to reach the unreached, where the specialists are not available. The specialist from remote area can reach that particular area by guiding the pediatrician over there. And of course, pediatrician must have access to the network of specialists of his choice within the diameter of few kilometers for timely referral. For example, a growth and development screening tracker. It must be filled by the parent once every 3 months to track their child's growth. And on form submission to the clinic or maybe online, parent may see the red flags related to nutrition deficiencies, mental health issues, and developmental delays, and thereby he gets an alert and he needs to go to the consultant in time. And parent is asked to immediately consult their pediatricians for advice and appropriate intervention. Screening is supported by relevant, credible, and doctor personalized patient education on disease prevention, management, and the need to consult the pediatrician. For example, you can see this chart where Dr. Sandeep Kelkar has his own personalized growth and development tracker for the children, and this is being sent to the parent, and the message goes to the parent that your responses indicate that your child may require intervention, and please show the following list of growth and development issues to Dr. Suhas Kulkarni. And here the issues observed were learning disabilities and diarrhea. Don't ignore these signs and consult Dr. Suhas Kulkarni for further advice. So these type of personalized messages will go to the patient, and this screening tool will help Dr. Suhas Kulkarni to keep a rapport with his own patient and get them in time to his clinic for better results. Then there is something like pediatricians must be able to investigate, manage, prevent, and treat straightforward special conditions locally at the clinic because they have got very good rapport with the patient and their parents. Pediatrician is supported by, for this pediatrician is supported by a robust decision support system, which consists of screening tools for doctors, ready reckoners, which are available for various special conditions, a voice-enabled decision support system, which is likely to come soon, and access to a specialist in 50-kilometer radius. So a doctor can select the specialist of his choice as per his knowledge, as per his rapport, and as per the charges taken by the specialist. And the specialized services, which are already available for dietary assessment and meal planning and mental health assessment, can be sent to the patient. Diagnosis and treatment for special conditions are required as a support to the pediatrician to treat the straightforward cases across multiple special conditions like primary immunodeficiency, nutrition, atopic dermatitis, croup, learning disabilities, breastfeeding and complementary feeding, food allergies, and others. And by this, how pediatrician benefited is by improving the patient outreach, because doctor has a personalized screening tools for patient outreach supported by patient education. And also he can retain the patient in his own clinic by giving credible education piped directly to the point of care via decision support system. Also, investigation, diagnosis, and timely referral will be facilitated by this, and local treatment will be facilitated for simple conditions. And in-clinic services for prevention and management of chronic conditions also will be possible by this piping of knowledge at the point of care. And now, empowering the key opinion leader or teacher. And what do you do for this? We have many excellent teachers and KOLs in our country, but all the students are not fortunate enough to learn from them because of logistic issues of travel and time. So every teacher and KOL needs to have their own content repository. Like for example, if suppose I want to give a talk on common cold and sinusitis, when to treat and with what, then I will develop a talk which can be used for classroom sessions. Pre-recorded lectures can be shown to the pediatricians, and this can be licensed as a content and by some of the other universities or online platforms, or it can be used for the class for some postgraduates wherein the timetable is maintained. And also you can always tell them to write to me on Google or email so that you can get the answer. So this published professionally edited lectures, conduct webinars, conduct tutorials for UG, PG students, collaborate with other KOLs to offer certificate courses. Many more things can be done. Like I have developed DIAP for IAP. Same way, we can form a similar repository platform for a KOL or for a teacher, by which many other pediatricians who are practicing or many other students who are likely to appear for UG, PG can be benefited. And how it benefits the teacher and student? KOLs can now create, produce, and disseminate education to doctors and students. Student gets access to cutting-edge education, and education in the most convenient form, that is pre-recorded talks which can be accessed anytime, anywhere, or there will be live classroom sessions or one-to-one tutorial, whichever is preferred, and a system which is self-sustaining with multiple sources of non-partisan income for the KOL. Pharma companies can use for their RTMs. CME companies and publishers may license the content on KOLs all term. KOL may prefer to give it free of charge, or KOL may like to have some money which can be used for better purpose. So thank you all. This is my vision to empower the medical practice all over the world in a very uniform manner, and where a student, a teacher, and a pediatrician who is a KOL can benefit from each other's connectivity and each other's knowledge. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your excellent view on the topic that is the current need. So now we move forward for the today's most awaited guest orator lecture. And before I introduce formally the Ambedkar sir, I requesting Swati Bhava madam to give some primary comment.
Thank you, Samir. Dr. Ambedkar needs no introduction to this august audience. He was president IAP in 1994, and for the last 50 years, all of us have been listening to him on various platforms. and Samir will be giving the official introduction of his life. In the Aki scroll, which we have made jointly by Mr. Yashwant Bhave and myself, we have expressed all the respect and affection we have for him, and hence I'm not going to repeat the same points. All I can say in 3 lines, my tribute to Dr. Ambedkar. In all my life, my father, Dr. Lele, was my role model, right from my childhood into college, of what a doctor should be. My idea of an astute clinician, brilliant teacher, orator par excellence. And though they were wonderful teachers in Grand Medical College also, I could never have the same feeling for them because I had this giant figure of my father in front of me. And when I joined pediatrics, after him, I found the same qualities in Dr. Ambedkar. And I truly respect Dr. Ambedkar as what a doctor should be, a researcher, a scientist, an orator after my father. And Dr. Ambedkar, I'm really, really grateful that you're giving this oration today. I was blessed to learn under Dr. Ambedkar, both as an undergraduate and postgraduate pediatric student in Grand Medical College from the year 1969 to 1978. And after I passed out, I had the good fortune to join his unit at JJ as associate professor in pediatrics, where I worked for last eight years. And he was a real mentor for my professional life. All that I've learned in being a good pediatrician was under his day-to-day interaction and guidance. And my JJ's first IAP award and my first award in IAP, James Flitt Award in 1986 in the Delhi Pedicon, was only because he coached me that I must get this award, and I didn't disappoint him. In Dr. Ambedkar and Dr. Poddar introduced me to IAP in the year 1986, and I really flourished under both their mentorship, learned so much in IAP, and had the distinguished honor of being a woman president after, say, 13 years after Aulokitaben Desai in the year 2000. So whatever I'm in IAP today is all because of Dr. Ambedkar and Dr. Poddar. And I'm really blessed that Dr. Ambedkar is there, and I don't have to say how he is going to mesmerize us with his talk, because we all have experienced this time and again. And on behalf of Aki, Lele and Bhave family, I again thank Dr. Ambedkar for gracing this occasion and accepting this oration. And Samir will now do a formal introduction.
So I am lucky to having a Ambedkar sir's introduction second time. In 2017, I having a chance to introduce him when he came for this year. And today again, I am introducing him as a formal introduction, will become an orator of today's talk. I am just introducing with my recorded lecture.
Dear friends, it's my great pleasure for getting chance.
At the outset, first let me
Sir,
wish.
just a minute. Your introduction is still pending. So
Okay.
then
Sir has very illustrious academic and professional career. Started from Grand Medical College in 1959. He completed his MBBS in 1963, DCH in 1966, and MD in 1967. He did his CSIR fellowship in between 1968 and 69 for 1 year, and joined as alma mater as honorary assistant professor in Department of the Pediatric, Grand Medical College in 1969, to become honorary professor in 1984 and retired after 2 years extension in 2000. He also worked in prestigious corporate hospitals, mainly joined Jaslok in 1981 and Bridge Candy Hospital in 1983. He underwent training in intensive care in pediatrics at Detroit, Michigan. He relinquished both above attachments in 2010 when he was invited by Vijayawada Hospital to join as medical director, where he has worked for 8 years till 2018. Sir started his private practice in 1968, started joint practice with Dr. Khare in 1980. Dr. Chokhani sir joined in 1991 and Dr. Pranjal Kale in 2004. This is one of the unique model of private practice in pediatrics in India. Sir started his NGO Clinical Pediatrics in 2000 along with Dr. Khare and Dr. Chokhani. They conducted 130 plus tier and grand round programs all over the India. Thursday PG Clinic started since 2000, continued till date without any break. Book authored by him including grand rounds and tier plus one book for the parents even when there is a doctor is very popular. Lifetime Achievement Award was respectively presented to him by Grand Medical College and Jaslok Hospital in June 2022. In the down line of the memory, I have one more chance to introduce the brainman of the pediatrics when we organized a steer at Vadodara in 2007 and lucky to get a memento of the appreciation of my services of the Academy of Pediatrics Vadodara as president of that year. We have at that time Sachin Tendulkar and Virat Kohli of pediatrics also along with him. You can imagine how the teacher will be when his students are like them. These are few more clips from down the line of the memory. This picture shows his journey in IAP since 1997 till date. His two very popular books among the pediatricians, Grand Round of the Pediatrics and Steer. Picture showing a complete family man with Mandar his son, Smita his daughter-in-law and Mrs. Y.K. Amdekar. We all know him a great clinician cum teacher at par excellence. Lastly, I am describing him in a 3 word that Mansa Vacha Karmana. He preaches what he practices and he practices what he preaches.
So, sir, the stage is yours. You can now present your presentation from your side.
Well, thank you very much. At the outset, I must wish Dr. Swati Bhave Lele all the best and many happy returns of the day. Well, Dr. Bakul Parekh, the chief guest of this function, Dr. Upendra Kinjavdekar, the guest of honor, Mr. Yashwant Bhave, the chairman of AACCI, of course, Dr. Swati Bhave, who has been nice to invite me for this program, Mrs. Sharmila Lele, the honorary secretary, Dr. Sandeep Shah, and Dr. Kavde, members of AACCI, my friends and colleagues. I'm so happy to have been asked to deliver this Dr. Lele oration. And I think what pleases me most is that I had known Dr. Lele for a long time, ever since he joined medical college as the head of the department at Grand Medical College, and thereafter as the dean of the hospital. And I was also lucky to have worked with him at Jaslok Research Center, where he was the medical director. I think the man of multifaceted virtues, astute clinician, an excellent teacher, a visionary researcher, able administrator, father of nuclear medicine, and special interest in varieties of issues related to medicine, including Ayurveda. And he saw Ayurveda through the eyes of modern science and wrote an excellent book which is possibly the greatest treasure of his broad outlook of various systems of medicine. Other books like Pursuit of Excellence and History of Medicine stand as a testimony to his wide interest, besides being an excellent teacher and a scientist by himself. And when I was asked by Swati to deliver this oration, I thought I should talk on a subject which could have been very close to his heart. And that's how I decided to talk on medicine, a science of health, and not just the disease. And friends, we all know that we study it in physics, light, but not darkness. And we studied heat, but not coldness, simply because the lack of light was darkness and the lack of heat was coldness. But in modern medicine, the emphasis has been mainly on disease, but not on health. It should have been mainly on the health. And only when the health is disturbed that you get a disease. Does it convey to us that health is only when there is a total absence of disease? And I think what happened thereafter was most of us became disease managers, but not health promoters. But if you look at Ayurveda, which is a science of life, it deals in depth many other virtues like salvation, that is moksha, and the soul, that is atma. Of course, besides medicine, in which the entire emphasis is on maintaining positive health. And I think this is where we need to take a leaf out of this concept in the practice of modern medicine. When we look at the concept of complete health, it is something much beyond just the freedom from disease. It simply must address both body as well as mind. Well, we are all aware of how to maintain and how to monitor body health. As pediatricians, we look after growth and development because we are dealing with a growing child. And the growth and development of every organ, which is largely reflected into weight, height, head circumference, etc. But when it comes to the development of brain, which needs to be monitored by many domains of brain function, like the motor, cognition, and language domains. I feel therefore to take care of the entire body, we need to look at all these aspects. But what about the health of the mind? After all, a human being consists of body and mind, and both are so interrelated in terms of health as well as disease. And I think this is where possibly the modern medicine has not given a lot of emphasis on this issue. Of course, now we talk a lot about mental health, but at a level of undergraduate training and even postgraduate training, the mind health and the mental health is often ignored. What is this mental health like? It's a part of emotional, psychological, and social health. And in simple words, it represents how we think, how we study well, improve knowledge, how we have a positive attitude, how we feel, what are our moods like, are we satisfied, are we coping up with stress in life, and finally, how we act, how do we contribute to the society at large and build relationship and shape our life. But besides mental health, there is also philosophical health, which refers to following guiding principles of behavior, ideals, and standards that have been laid down by the generations before us. And of course, the spiritual health as well. What does spiritual health really mean? To spread happiness and avoid 6 big enemies of mind: Kama, Krodha, Moha, Lobha, Mada, Matsara, desire, anger, greed, delusion, arrogance, and jealousy. Friends, this is so important in terms of mind health. And then the total concept of health, of body and mind together, is so crucial for not only the personal, but also the community development and, of course, the socio-economic development of the country itself. Having said this about what concept of total health means, I was so lucky to have joined Grand Medical College way back in 1959. And I realized that our college logo is mens sana in corpore sano, which means healthy mind in healthy body. What a perfect message to an undergraduate medical student who joins the Grand Medical College and is always reminded that it's not the body, but it's the mind that also needs to be kept healthy. Well, what is most important is the promotion of health is the responsibility of all of us as health professionals. Well, we are lucky that most of us are born healthy, but remaining healthy certainly needs nurturing. We are all aware that human body is a complicated machine that needs daily care. And unfortunately, all this information does not come with a brochure like any equipment that you buy in the market. You have an information brochure with it. And while handling this machine of the body, of course, is the responsibility of its owner, but must be guided by an information provided by health professionals. We all must be aware that we as health professionals are responsible for providing this information to every parent, to every child, so that they can handle their responsibility of their own body and mind. I wonder whether modern medicine has focused on this issue at all. Well, generations ago, Hippocrates observed 3 factors responsible for physical health: balanced food, environment, and personal hygiene. But we know over experience gained over generation has fine-tuned and added, besides balanced food, environment, and hygiene, also the importance of sleep and physical exercise in maintaining body health and, of course, looking after the mind as well. What it really means is inculcating good habits at the right time during growing years. And what we really want to look at of the past is if we combine traditional wisdom with modern science, old and new together, I'm sure that is the best to happen. And today, I greatly value the advances in modern medicine, but also want to remind everyone that traditional wisdom has to join this modern developing science to make the best out of it. Well, we are all aware as pediatricians that first 1,000 days are so important. And ideally, care should start with a female child who grows into an healthy female adult and also bears a healthy child. I think this concept is coming up in a big way now, and we need to start as much early, right from a female child. Well, foundation of health is laid in the first 2 years, a very sensitive period of growth and development. And if you look at the number of days from conception to the end of the second year, it is exactly the 1,000 days. Well, care of pregnant women with periodic health checks, with proper advice, and also very important, preparation of breastfeeding. I'm sure this is an important aspect that every obstetrician should take a note of this and prepare every pregnant woman to get ready for the breastfeeding. And of course, care at birth, the very initial moments of independent life, initiation of breastfeeding and bonding. We all as pediatricians know an excellent video by UNICEF, a breast crawl. And when the baby is born, and before even the cord is cut, the baby could be simply put on the abdomen of the mother, and one finds how nature has devised all this. The baby crawls gradually up to the breast. And this tells us that the nature went so much ahead to ensure a good start to life by this kind of bonding. Modern science started separating the baby and keeping it into a special neonatal unit. Today, we all know what mistakes some part of the medical practice did. And today, it's a bonding and breastfeeding that should start right away from the word go. And exclusive breastfeeding for the first 6 months. Complementary feeds, of course, with continuation of breastfeeding. But a very important aspect of this sensitive period of first 2 years is to inculcate good habits with parents as a role model. Of course, monitoring growth and development and prevention of diseases. Friends, every aspect of this, right from conception to the end of 1,000 days, needs the foundation of health that needs to be further sustained over the several years during growth and, of course, thereafter all through the life. But when it comes to care of children beyond 2 years, this is also an age of promoting a very responsible, healthy lifestyle. Today, we are all aware that a large chunk of diseases are coming through some problems in our lifestyle itself. And I think the foundation of healthy lifestyle has to be laid at such an early age. Of course, there has to be an emphasis on vegetables and fruits in a balanced diet. Well, it took a lot of time for us to understand nutritionally that the micronutrients form an important major contribution to a balanced diet, and an ideal dish should have 50% occupied by the vegetables and fruits, besides, of course, the cereals, the pulses, and the dairy and whatnot. Today's children may be lacking on this aspect of micronutrient, and this habit needs to be inculcated right from the beginning. Well, adequate sleep is a very important aspect of a good growth of both body and mind. And I'm sure majority of even doctors are deprived of good health and good sleep. Sleep is an important measure, and sleep at the optimum time. A good 6 to 8 hours sleep for an adult and a proportionately larger amount of sleep for a child. But it's also important that it should be at an optimum time, sometimes between 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. or 11 to 7 or whatever. I think sleep and sleep hygiene is totally ignored by most of us, and it's so important to inculcate these right habits. Well, when it comes to body health, it's so important to ensure outdoor physical exercise, outdoor sports. And today we all know that electronic gadgets have become the cause of obesity in childhood. Children have lost the ability to go out and play, and they play on all these electronic gadgets. And today we know that ideally, children under 5 years should be kept away from every electronic gadgets. But today you find that every infant is also hooked on cell phone. And today's ABCD is not taught by anything other than in electronic language. So A for Apple and B for Bluetooth. Okay. So this total change has to be looked into very seriously and prevented at this very young age. One more important habit that you need to inculcate is reading habits. It's not just the curriculum, but something far beyond. And I think today the reading habits are going down. One needs to read varieties of things from which you can really get the best of how the life should be maintained. And the important part of learning is a self-learning. After all, the teachers only guide a student, but the student must learn how to learn by himself. And that curiosity of learning, asking for guidance from the teacher, but the responsibility of self-learning lies with each student. And today we find it's only a rote learning, just by hearting something, just the information, but not even a knowledge. Wisdom is far apart. I think inculcating sense of personal hygiene is very, very important. And we know the value of it as far as the diseases are concerned. I think finally the most important concept at this age that we need to inculcate is to prepare a child for a healthy and happy mind, and for which, of course, the role model parents are important. And all that we need to inculcate into the minds of these young children is to put up the best efforts, but also cope up with failure. Nobody can win every time, but everybody must be trying his best effort, but also able to cope up with failure. I think the best message at this age is one should compete with oneself and not with anybody else. We must try to do better the next day and compete with ourselves, which possibly is the correct way to go by. Parents have such a large responsibility at this point of time. And I'm sure that organization like AACCI is doing so much on this aspect and trying to guide the parents on how they should bring up children. But I want to remind all of us as health professionals that we also owe to kind of give this message to parents and through parents to children. Parents must be authoritative. That means they should give a lot of independence to their children, but with remote control, but not authoritarian, which means no freedom at all. They can't be harsh or lenient. And I think this is something that all health professionals should try to imbibe into the mind of parents and children. Then only our next generation will be far more healthy. And adolescence is very close to AACCI, and I'm sure they are doing so much of work in adolescence as well. I think this is most sensitive period at crossroads of biopsychosocial development. This is a period of accelerated growth, sexual maturation, behavior change. And I think this sensitive period needs certainly something of a special attention. And I'm so happy that a group of pediatricians have now been devoting their whole time and energy to adolescent care. And like the neonatology, we have now an adolescent specialist amongst ourselves. Well, I think we know that adolescents are more concerned about looks than health. They need sex education, and there is always the risk of being misled by multiple sources. I remember one of the groups which always tried to kind of address sex education were holding regular meetings with parents. And in one of the meetings, my colleague told me this story. He told all fathers to explain about the sex to their sons and to all mothers to explain the sex to their daughters. And he gave them an idea how to put it across to children and asked them to come back after a weekend report how they fared. And one of the fathers could not even get courage to talk to his adolescent son until a day before he had to report to his class. He decided to call his son when he returned back from his play in the evening. And he told his son, "Son, I want to talk to you something very important." So the son asked the father, "What is it about?" He said, "I'm going to talk to you about sex." So the son asked the father, "Do you have any problems?" The son is already having enough information, but often a wrong information. I feel this aspect has now been openly discussed, and that is also so important. I think the adolescents are at a stage where they want to be identified as an adult and they want to take down their own decisions, while the parents consider those decisions as inappropriate and consider that their sons, adolescents, are still young children. I think parents need to handle adolescents with care, accept them as friends. It has to be a friendly relation. And I think what is most important is parents must allow expression of views with patient listening and promote discussion and not arguments. Friends, we all know that arguments is to find out who is right, but the discussion is to find out what is right. It is immaterial whether the adolescent is right or the parents are right, but the discussion should focus on what is right, and parents should have that kind of a thinking that if they find adolescent right more than themselves, they should kind of accept that. And this is the way the friendly relation can be discussed. Having discussed about the total health, I feel that the lots of freedom under a watchful eye and a bit of discipline is the perfect recipe or a mantra for today's parent. And I think as the health professional, we should also try to discuss such issues with the parents, because as I said, that body and mind go together to keep healthy or also in a disease. But friends, the diseases are inevitable in life. However, we try to maintain our health. All that we can do is possibly to reduce the chance of illness, or sometimes we could delay the occurrence of a defect or a disease by good lifestyle. And that's how we will ultimately find that many of us will be facing the diseases even after we have adequately trained our parents and children to maintain good health. Well, unfortunately, many questions related to diseases have remained unanswered in spite of modern advanced science. I think William Osler once said that we must know what kind of a patient the disease is, rather than what kind of disease the patient has. I think this is so important. Modern medicine has given an emphasis on what kind of disease we are looking at. and we often have not looked at what kind of a patient has the disease. And I think we must treat the patient in his body reside the disease. And this statement by William also makes us understand that we have to know the patient more than just know the disease. And unfortunately, we know very little about our patient. Besides knowing his name and age, etc., we do not know his genotype, we do not know his phenotype, and we also do not know his mind. Friends, this is where I think we must keep our eyes open to see how well we can understand our patient and not only focus on understanding the disease. I'm sure disease is important, but more important or equally important is a patient in which the disease occurs. And today we know very well that diseases have a wide spectrum of presentation only because the genotype, phenotype, and mind differ. And this is where we know today that besides the patient who is responsible for a wide spectrum of presentation of a disease, there are many other triggers, including the environment, which decide the outcome. That's how the medicine is becoming complex today. I recall when I was learning undergraduate medical curriculum, malaria used to come with rigors. Thereafter, I realized that malaria may not come with rigor, but may come with any kind of fever. And later, I realized malaria can also manifest without fever. Why has this change occurred? Have the parasites changed? Probably not. But of course, the human has changed. Environment has changed. Phenotypes are changed. Genotypes are changed. Mind is changed. And this is where the medicine is so complex. As the medicine is so complex, therefore there is a limitations of modern science. And again, I quote William Osler, who said century ago, medicine is a science of uncertainty and an art of probability. It holds true even today. Disease profile and outcome have changed so much because it depends on many, many variables. And because of this, the changing trends have become a challenge to the already trends. What does it mean? We as health professionals are lifelong students. We need to continue learning. Not only continue learning, but learn, unlearn, and relearn. Because many concepts that I learned 10 years ago have become obsolete now, and I need to unlearn them and relearn the new information. Well, we have a lot of laboratory tests available at our disposal, but remember, they are not for diagnostic search. They are at best suggestive and need clinical correlation for interpretation. So laboratory tests cannot give us a diagnosis. It's the clinician who decides the probable diagnosis bedside and asks for the help of a laboratory as little as possible and with good interpretation in clinical terms. Well, if I look at modern technology today can answer what has happened, but has always failed to answer why it happened. I know I suffered from cancer, but I don't know why it happened. And this is true for varieties of diseases. And unless the modern science can answer why, only knowing what is not going to solve a problem. And this is a great limitation of modern science. That is how, in spite of advances in modern medicine, one author has said the management in modern medicine can be summed up in 3 P's. And what are 3 P's? Palliative, placebo, and plumbing. When I learned medicine until about 20 years ago, every infection could be cured by a correct diagnosis and using a right antibiotic. and many other diseases had no cure. Today, even infections are not easy to cure. But today we have gone further, and incurable diseases can be cured by organ transplant, stem cell transplant, and science is certainly advancing. But don't forget that all that is possible for a small population. Large population still depends on a simple clinical bedside medicine. And these are the limitations really. Well, if diseases are inevitable in life and the modern science has limitation, what is expected from a doctor? And that is where I think the important point comes, which most of us never learned in great details, though some of us were very happy and very fortunate to learn from our role model teachers. And obviously, Dr. Lele was one of them. Well, holistic care is by the use of brain, heart, mind, and soul. And what does brain means in medical holistic care? Knowledge. Well, its knowledge is not just information, but when information is digested, absorbed, and retained and used, that becomes knowledge. Well, wisdom is far ahead. Wisdom is to decide where to use knowledge and where not to use knowledge. For example, we know tomato is a fruit. That's a knowledge. But what is the wisdom? You don't put tomato in a fruit salad. So you must know where not to put tomato, even if it's a fruit. It cannot go into a fruit salad. That is wisdom. But we must acquire knowledge, not just information. And we must digest, absorb, retain, and utilize all that information. That is what knowledge means. But what is beyond science? That we need to use heart. Heart refers to compassion in medical medicine, the mind to commitment, and soul to inner conscience. What does it mean? At the end of the day, even as a doctor, if I fail to cure a child, my inner conscience should convince me that I did my best. And I think I am responsible only to my own conscience and not to anybody else. And when such a holistic care is offered to a patient, and not only just offered with devotion, it leads to divine healing. Friends, I've been in now practice almost over 55 years, and I start realizing that whenever I succeed, it is not just me, but there are some divine forces behind the patient and me that ended up with success. And if that does not happen, then all my efforts end up with a failure. Therefore, friends, as doctors, we must look at the art of medical practice, and that is ethics, empathy, communication, counseling, documentation, and so on and so forth. Well, there is a small difference between empathy and compassion. Well, sympathy is far less. Sympathy is at the spinal level, but empathy is at the cortical level. Empathy is at the cognition level, which means a doctor must understand what the patient must be thinking about his illness, or what must this mother be thinking about this child's even 1 day fever. This mother has anxiety. This mother has uncertainty. The mother is worried about complications. And the good doctor needs to treat all such issues which are lingering in the mind of a patient or the parents. And that is empathy. But compassion is a little beyond empathy, which means that we not only understand what the parents or the patient must be thinking about his own illness, but go one step further to help him to tide over the crisis. We doctors, in being busy in practice and focused on only medical science, has often neglected all these issues. And this is very important. But we know that all such things are a measure of honesty, transparency, accountability, and responsibility. And if this is followed, it instills faith and respect and satisfaction in the patient. And it gives a confidence and happiness to the doctors. Well, we must understand this aspect that mind is an important contributor to health. If a patient has no positive attitude towards his illness, if his mind is not able to kind of focus on positives, then the same treatment by an excellent doctor is likely to fail. It's the patient mind that needs to be addressed, and the art of medical practice that is discussed here now is what treats the mind, whereas the science only treats the body. Well, we must understand that patient does not care how much you know, but wants to know how much you care. It's the care that makes the patient feels confident about the doctor and a faith and respect. And that mind of a patient makes him heal the disease faster. Well, secret of care of a patient lies simply in caring for the patient. And often we as practitioners of modern advancing science has forgotten the art of medical practice. And I think that is where the failure has started coming in. And hence, friends, our motto should be care always and cure if possible. Well, cure is often not possible in varieties of disorders, though science is, of course, going far ahead, but still is far away. But where are we going at present? If we look at clinical medicine, is replaced by modern technology. And please remember that we are not treating an inanimate object that can be simply handled by technology. And therefore, today we started treating numbers, test results, not necessarily the disease, but not even a human being in whose body resides the disease. We need to treat the body by science, but we have failed to treat the mind of the patient, and that is done by the art of medicine. This is where science and art of medicine come together, and I'm afraid that our medical curriculum has not focused on this very aspect of art of medicine, but some of us were fortunate to have learned from our role model teachers. Well, today what is therefore happening is there is a dehumanization of medicine. What does it mean? We have high-tech medicine replacing a high-touch medicine. When we touch a patient, I think there is some bond created between a medical professional and a patient. And I think that makes the patient feel confident and heals his disease faster. What today patient needs is time and conversation from the doctor. And all such wrong things that are happening has caused a disturbed doctor-patient relationship, resulting into loss of medical profession's image and loss of faith in the doctors, with its consequences of arguments, violence, and even legal suits. I feel that this is where what is happening in modern medicine. Look at this. This doctor is telling the patient, I have no idea what's wrong with you. I just collect information and my computer makes the diagnosis and decision. Look what happened with American Medical Association. In 2016, it held a condolence meeting for physical examination. Physical examination nearly died in USA in 2016. The history taking had died much before. We are not far from that. And look at this. We as doctors see but not observe. Here is a man who has a highest technological help as a bird watcher, but the bird is just behind him, and bird is trying to tell him, look, I am here, don't look with your technology. Friends, we often see but don't observe, and today we must develop almost a Sherlockian observational skills. Look at this. This patient is telling the doctor that I'm worried that the healthcare has become too impersonal. But look at what doctor says. Nonsense. Just relax and lie back on the barcode scanner. Tomorrow we will not take the history, but we will know from the barcode scanner everything about what the patient has. Is that a modern technology and modern science? Will it really help? And look at this. This doctor is asking the sister, what happened? Why the patient fell down? And the sister said, I only said, go for these all tests. And he fell flat. Today, patients are certainly not ready to accept all such modern technology, but the use of modern technology is excellent only if it is backed up by a good clinical bedside medicine and a right decision where to use it or where not to use it. Well, there are robots coming all over and artificial intelligence, but will it replace the clinical medicine and the medical practice? Of course not. And look at this. Well, if you are not trained in counseling, don't worry, get a robo. Robo cannot do counseling. Counseling has to have one-to-one interaction, and that is very important. There are excellent books written by doctors themselves. One of them is When Doctors Don't Listen by Lena Wen and Joshua Kosofsky. These books talks about how to avoid misdiagnosis and unnecessary tests only by listening patiently to a patient story. There are enough literature articles which suggest that an average doctor cuts the discussion between patients and himself because of short of time and does not listen to patients fully and patiently. There is another excellent book written by Jerome Groopman, again an internist from Boston, who talks about real cases and shows how doctors think, and the message is how doctors don't think. And I think this is where now we are required to let our next generation know that they know medicine, but they must think medicine. They see, but they don't observe. They hear, but they don't listen. And I think these books talk about the real cases, not virtual, where a simple thinking process not applied made a lot of difference in the ultimate outcome. And my worry now is, can we reverse this trend? Well, friends, we must follow cost-effective and simple measures. We can achieve health for all. Well, modern science can help only a few. And health for all is an important message. And if we try to focus on health, then possibly we can control some degree, at least a prevalence of diseases, and help the patients to heal better. I think analysis of detailed history offers diagnosis in more than 80% of cases. And physical examination can fine-tune it and test only if required. But see how the fun is. We all as undergraduates were taught how to take history. But when I was taught by my role model teachers, they emphasize on first patient listening to what patients are complaining about. So our history taking starts from patient listening. And today I know that it is the first step towards empathy. That patients feel comfortable that here is a doctor who wants to listen to all my complaints very patiently. And this suggests empathy. Then you start taking history taking, and history taking sets the tone for communication, which is so vital between a doctor and a patient. And then appropriate physical contact while examining boosts up the emotional connection. And finally, when you make a diagnosis and counsel and communicate with the patient, it denotes your compassion. Well, we don't have to recall what is art of medicine. But if you practice medicine of patient listening, good history taking, a good physical examination, and ending up with communication and counseling, I think you have followed the art of medicine. And my role model teachers taught me art of medicine while teaching me the practice of medicine. And today, this is very, very important. Well, what does it need? It needs an internal motivation that comes from within. And once it comes, it becomes a habit, and the habit is sustained forever. External motivation don't work. External motivation are either reward or some punishment. It does not work well. It does not stay with you. And therefore, we must develop that kind of motivation to practice art and science of medicine together. Well, what does it do to all of us, friends? It brings health and happiness in life, even of a doctor. So much so that you can die young as late as possible. I know Dr. Lele died young, as late as possible. And why I call him young? He had that kind of an enthusiasm of learning more, trying to do something more, like a young, fit person trying to excel himself each day, day after day. And that's what Dr. Lele stood for. And I feel greatly honored that I was asked to give this oration in his name. And I once again thank the organizers of AACCI and Dr. Swati Bhave in particular for giving me this opportunity. I only wish that Dr. Lele was alive to listen to all this. I could have asked him where I faulted, what more I could have said, and he would have given me some more clues how I could have improved myself. Today, I'm sure he must be listening to me from somewhere, and I'm sure I will get his message one day, and I will thank him for all that he did. Thank you very much. Lastly, just making a short take home message. Let's become health promoters and not just disease managers. Use every opportunity to promote preventive health, not only just vaccination, but hygiene, lifestyle, behavior. Ensure total health, especially in sensitive periods like first 2 years and adolescence. Monitor growth and development on the growth chart. That's a life progress card so that early deviation can be addressed. Finally, I'm imagining a world where every child grows and develops well under the guidance of a health professional. Friends, we owe it to our next generation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. There are no words to express all our feelings, and I'm echoing every person in the audience. As usual, we were mesmerized by your lecture, your philosophy, and your guidance. And all of you who have not read Dr. Ambedkar's latest book, What Doctors Should Know, please purchase a copy and read. The first 5 chapters, he has condensed all philosophy Heart and Soul of Medicine, The Art of Practice. And I keep reading it again and again because it is so deep. It's like a Gita, not easy to absorb in the very first reading. Thank you so much, Dr. Amdekar. Samir, please take over.
So, dear sir, thanks a lot for giving such a lucid oration on medicine, science of health, not just a disease. It's a really message what you give is what doctors must learn. Name of your latest book. And we always learn something new from your side. Each and every time once we hear you in any forum. We all know and we are really obliged for your gracious presence and delivering third Dr. R.D. Lele oration today. You are so much humble that you really ready to keep a record of this version to our technical glitches if happened today and spare 1 hour of recording on 20th December morning with me. Now it's this is just a show of that photograph where we recorded your presentation, but it's now not needed at all. So now it's a time to present memento and scroll to the sir and all the guests today. My special thanks to Dr. Bakul sir and Dr. Upendra to spare a special time to gather along with Ambekar sir and shoot an award of oration and plaque citation reading. So I am presenting the video that is presented by the Dr. Bakul sir and Dr. Upendra on behalf of them in a recording version.
Hello friends, today we heard Dr. Y.K. Ambedkar, our teacher, giving oration on the name of Padma Bhushan Sri late R.D. Lele, who was also a great teacher and a legendary figure. So it was our honor to appreciate this by giving a plaque and a citation to Dr. Y.K. Ambedkar at the hands of Dr. Upendra Kinjwadekar, our national president for 2023. Dr. Upendra Kinjwadekar, sir.
Both of us should give it.
Yeah, okay. It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now I will request Dr. Upendra Kinjwadekar to read the citation and then hand it over to Dr. Y.K. Ambedkar.
Professor Dr. Yashwant Krishna Ambedkar, President IIP 1994. Respected sir, you have had a very illustrious academic and professional career and have made a mark in various facets of medical profession. There are 6 roles of a teacher given in Upanishads. Adhyapak, a teacher who fulfilled students' basic needs of information. Upadhyay, leading them from information to knowledge. Acharya, imparting skills to succeed in this world of competition. Pandit, giving a deep insight into a subject and connect with others. Drishta, having a visionary view on a subject and teach you to think in that manner, enabling his disciples to earn respect, strength from conviction and freedom from fear. And lastly, Guru, the one who is able to awaken the wisdom in you, leading you from darkness to light, the highest plane of being one with oneself, one that teaches you to attain wisdom. This is what Maslow would call self-actualization, achieving the desire to become the most that one can be. You have adorned all these roles with equal ease, elegance, and perfection. Students who learned under you felt themselves blessed. Those who could not hope that they too someday will have the benefit of listening to you, as it is aptly said by the poet Chirag Hasan Hasrat, किन किन को पढ़ाया तुमने, किन किन को सिखाया तुमने, हमको भी पढ़ाया होता, हमको भी सिखाया होता. You have been a real teacher of teachers, mentoring students not just during their education, but throughout their personal and professional life. You have been a role model for hundreds of students who were trained by you in all the hospitals you worked over these years. You have been an orator par excellence, mesmerizing the audience with your clarity of thought and sense of humor. Your bedside rounds and the systematic manner in which you reached the differential diagnosis. You made medicine an art and science and always put your heart and soul into patient care. You gave equal time for excellent treatment to patients and empathy to parents, explaining in very simple terms the diagnosis and prognosis, whether they were from poor class at public JJ hospital or corporate Jaslok hospital. You set an example on how to behave when a senior was called for second opinion, boosting confidence about the primary pediatricians in the minds of parents and family, and yet diplomatically managing to guide the diagnosis and change of treatment in the right path. God has blessed you with a long life, and we pray He gives you many more years for you to continue doing so, your good work. AACCI is privileged to award you this scroll for delivering Padma Bhushan awardee late Dr. R.D. Lele, third oration 2023 on this 22nd January 2023. Sri Yashwant Bhave, Dr. Swati Bhave, S.V. Lele.
Thank you, Dr. Upendra. Now, I will request our teacher, Dr. Amdekar, to bless our president and the guest of honor, Dr. Upendra Kinjwaidekar, with a memento and a plaque, and wish him the best for the year 2023. Let it be the most successful year in IAP for Dr. Upendra Kinjwaidekar. Thank you.
Now I request sir to honor Dr. Bakul Bhai, our visionary 2020 IAP president, who really revolutionized IAP functioning as far as digital IAP is concerned. It's an honor to work with you, Dr. Bakul Bhai.
The scroll of the honors presented to sir, and these are the photographs of the memento presented to all the guests. So before we go for a vote of thanks, I will give some stage to the madam for the further proceeding.
Thank you very much, Samir. You know, as per protocol, we don't allow questions after an oration, but whoever wants to make any comments or ask questions to Dr. Amdekar, please put them in the chat, and we will share these chats with Dr. Amdekar after the program is over. After the formal vote of thanks given by our secretary, Sharmila Lele, the official function will end, but we'll have a short informal session which will follow, because there are many students of Dr. Lele, colleagues, who would like to today share his memories. In the past, it was an interaction, and Dr. Lele got along with any age. Both my sons, who are software engineers, have excelled in their field, and my father could have very intellectual discussions with them, telling them how they can revolutionize software in medicine. And with my daughter-in-law, who's a lawyer, talking about how software can revolutionize the court. And he could relate with both the grandsons and the daughter-in-laws, and they're also here in this. So after the vote of thanks, those who want to wait for the informal interaction, please wait. Dr. Sandeep Kaude will be handling this chat session. He has also compiled the people who have already sent the sharing of the memories. This will also be put on the website. I've been receiving constant messages today and last 2-3 days. 26 January seems to be a very crowded day. There are many IIP functions, conferences, many family functions, and people have not been able to log in due to technical reasons. But our national coordinator is also a technical wizard, chairman of the computer group, has coordinated with ClearNet. We have recorded this on the YouTube, and we'll share this not only with all of you who have participated and registered, but in various social groups, so that those who missed this oration and the wonderful speech of Dr. Amdekar and the inspiring speeches of Upendra and Bakul will not miss this opportunity, and you'll get the digital recording. So Samir, over to you for the official vote of thanks.
So as madam said, today we are just completing our session with the vote of thanks by our secretary, Dr. Mrs. Sharmila Lele madam. And after that, we having a informal talk on this memory of the Lele sir.
Hello, everybody. As Secretary of ACCI, it is my pleasure to give the vote of thanks today. First of all, our oration speaker, Dr. Y.K. Amdekar, Doyen of Pediatrics and IAP President, 1994, for accepting to deliver the second R.D. Lele oration and delivering a very, very inspiring lecture. We thank Chief Guest Dr. Bakul Parekh, IAP President 2020 and Chairperson IPA Congress 2023 for gracing the occasion and his excellent address. Guest of Honor, Dr. Upendra Kinjwadekar, President IAP 2023 for his excellent speech and beautiful reading of the ACCI scroll for Dr. Ambedkar. We thank all of them for taking special efforts to make the beautiful video of the memento ceremony. Mrs. Jayasri Ranade, niece of Dr. Adi Lele, for a melodious recitation of Saraswati Vandana. Dr. Samir Shah, ACCI National Coordinator, for planning and conducting and comparing this whole digital program with his meticulous planning. And he also took the big responsibility of getting the mementos and the citation done in Vadodara and couriering to all our guests today. Dr. Sandeep Kaude, the National Parent Forum and ACCI PCB Center in charge for co-comparing, and Dr. Prashant Karia for handling the chat box. Soma and Preeti from ClearNet for their Zoom platform and all the help given in registration of all our participants today. All the ACCI volunteers who are members of the ACCI family for circulating the banner, all our participants today, and link of the oration. The last but not the least, many thanks to all the participants for sparing time and logging in for the event and multiplying the joy. As you all have been Dr. Adi Lele students, friends and colleagues, the Lele and Bhavi families will always remember you and your presence at this very important occasion. Thank you everyone. Have a lovely day ahead.
Thanks a lot for each and every person who today remained present for today's oration. And now we end our today's oration and we will continue with a formal talk as Madam said. Thank you everyone once again.
So thank you everybody. Again on behalf of myself, Mr. Yashwant Bhave and all the members of AKI and the members of the Lele Bhavi family, we really thank you for making this a wonderful session. And Sunday mornings are very precious for everybody. It's a real family time. And you all still logged in for 2 hours. And I'm sure you are inspired by all the speeches. So now I ask Sandeep to take over this informal chat session. And he can then first quickly go through what he has compiled. And then those who want to talk, please raise your hands. Dr. Sandeep will call you one by one. I can see Dr. Tilak's hand raised. Dr. Satish Tibrewala also will be speaking. Yes, Sandeep, please take over.
Yes. It was a great honor to hear from esteemed dignitaries, especially Ambedkar sir. We had compiled few tributes which were sent by many students from Dr. Lele sir. There was an article on his birthday on 16 January 2023, CME India. I'm sorry, I got logged off. I'll share. This article was shared in the cmeindia.in website and the online edition. The link for this and the tributes will be loaded in the AKI website later on. So we have got from a few of them Mrs. Dr. Surekha Vivek Doshi, who is also the research head of AKI. She has spoken very well about how as a teacher Dr. Lele sir influenced her life and how AKI and his role in developing such organization and giving inspiration to doctors to go ahead with contributing to the society. Then we have Dr. Shrikant Sorgade, who is a renowned pediatrician and child psychologist from Nagpur, who had very fond memories as a student in the 1960s, where Lele sir was the professor of medicine, and how sir inspired students to do great clinical work even then. We have Dr. Arvind Labechwar sir, who worked with sir at Government Medical College, Nagpur. Sir also had an experience as a patient with Sir, where Sir Lele Sir diagnosed him and helped him for treatment. So not only is he remembered as a teacher, but as a renowned clinician in their own right. Then we have Dr. Hanumantrao Palep sir, who is a renowned doctor in the field of Ayurveda, and he had worked along with sir for the Ayurvedic book which he had given, and how sir had helped him to develop ideas and scientific research in his field. So even giants of their own fields recognize contribution of Lele sir in their. Then we have senior doctors who were students of Dr. Lele sir as a professor of medicine, and all have given their best, their tributes to sir and given their best wishes. Here we have Dr. Anuradha Biani, who was sir's student in the 1970s at Nagpur. So we have compiled this. The complete this can be read on the Aki website. And now I will open the forum for tributes from other dignitaries. I see Dr. Tilak sir.
Sandeep, before we ask to the others, let
Yes, sir.
our chief guest and guest of honor to speak, and then we can ask to others.
Yes,
So,
sir.
Bakul sir, please.
Bakul Parekh sir, please.
Thank you, Samir. Sorry, I have to leave for one of the important meetings with IPA, but let me agree and inform you that I really enjoyed today's oration, something different. Though we knew about all these things, but the way Dr. Ambedkar sir expressed, I think we all must follow these instructions very truly in our life and in our practice. Thank you, Dr. Swati and Aki management for arranging this oration and inviting me as a chief guest for this very special occasion. I will remember this forever, and thank you very much again.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Bakul.
Thank you very much, sir.
Upendra sir, if
Upendra
available. I think he left. I think we can go ahead.
Yes.
Dr. Ambedkar, would you like to say something? If we...
Well,
Yeah.
I only thank all of you all once again. And what I said was what I learned largely from my role model teachers. And Dr. Lele was one of them, whom I could see very closely, both as a professor of medicine, as a dean of the Grand Medical College, and as a medical director of a corporate hospital. He could adjust so well to a general poor hospital as well as a big corporate hospital, but his views were very similar to both the hospitals. And the view was only to do the best possible for the patient who deserved the best from us. I could realize that for him, the socioeconomic group, the environment, or whatever was not a concern. His concern only was a patient, and he taught us how we should deliver the best to the patient wherever we are, whatever we can best do. And I thank AACCI and Swati in particular to have given me this honor. I thank you very much, and thank you all my friends.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. It is indeed an honor to listen to all the dignitaries. Now I request Dr. Albay Kumar Tilak sir to kindly unmute and express his thoughts. Tilak sir, you can
Yes.
start your video, sir.
I can start my video. Okay. Am I? Yes.
Yes.
I practice in Nasik. I am a colleague of Dr. Swati Bhave. I have been her co-houseman and co-registrar in Grand Medical College. And we were all students of Dr. Ambedkar. And during that time, Dr. R.D. Lele was also Dean of Grand Medical College. I want to just recount that we had a strike of MARD regarding some of their conditions to the government of Maharashtra. and the government did not agree and then passed an order to evict all the residents who were working at Grand Medical College and JJ Group of Hospitals. Dr. Lele as a dean had a tough time, but instead of implementing the order, I think he told the government that he would rather resign because what the residents are demanding are very just demands, long-standing demands. And he always stood for the what is the fact and the truth and did not fall prey to the government pressures. So I remember that particular incidents. Of course, there are so many other incidences, but this one told me the qualities of Dr. Lele, that he was always with the students, with the medical profession, than with the government, though officially he was a government servant as a dean. Regarding Dr. Ambedkar, I would like to say that he is a doyen in pediatrics, plus he is a torch bearer for thousands of pediatricians. Wherever we went, I attended so many conferences. Wherever Dr. Ambedkar spoke, he got all the praise, and his towering personality, his thoughts, his clarity of thoughts, and his not only views about the teaching or not only views about the patient care, but as a guiding principles that he taught us even during our graduate days and postgraduate days about how to deal with the patient, how to arrive at a diagnosis, what importance to be given to clinical history, and you should be able to get some idea about diagnosis only based on history in 80% of cases, and clinical examination further to come to further conclusion as to what could be the diagnosis. And only those investigations should be demanded which are to corroborate what your clinical diagnosis is, and not to ask for battery of investigations and talk to the patient casually and not listening to him. So these all principles we all value, and he reinstated all these things in his speech. So it was a very excellent oration, and I would congratulate Swati, Yashwant for asking Dr. Ambedkar to present this oration. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhay. My sister Madhumati Lele, who's president of CCI, has to attend a meeting just now. Madhumati, would you like to say something before you leave? Are you there? Okay. So,
Rajendra Agarkar, sir, are you there?
Satish Tibrewala. Satish was my batchmate and the general secretary, cultural secretary of GMC. Satish, unmute, please. Satish, unmute.
Okay,
Yeah.
can you hear me now?
Yeah.
First of all, my greetings to the Bhave and Lele families, and congratulations for such a wonderful program. So much to learn for all of us from this program. Swati, it was really kind of you to send the link on our group. So we were very fortunate and privileged to have Dr. R.D. Lele as our teacher during our undergraduate years in general medicine. His lectures were so crisp. And what I remember about his lectures is that he would break out into a sher or a shairi in the middle of the lecture, which was very appropriate for that moment. And we would all be astounded how he's speaking in such crisp Urdu. And it was only later that we found out that he was educated at the Osmania University at Hyderabad. But his shairis were always very humorous and to the point at that time. And I was also fortunate to be general secretary when he was the dean, and I approached him with many student problems. He gave me a very patient hearing and helped me resolve many issues with the students and the government at that time.
Then Swati, you had put a picture there of 2014 GMC icon. I was sitting with Dr. Lele on the first sofa just in front of the stage, and the music program was going on. And Dr. Lele just could not withhold himself. He jumped up from the sofa, pulled me up, and he said, "Let's dance." I was a little stunned, but that was the type of person he was. He always had a mischievous smile on his face, and he was full of life and lived in the moment. That was one thing. Then during my interactions with him in the later years of his life, I had a few occasions when I asked him about his youthfulness and his energy levels. He said that, I have a very uh, program which I follow from morning to evening, and which includes reading, even in his late 80s, writing. And he said, I cycle every day. I was astonished. I was just thinking of Dr. R.D. Lele on a road on a bicycle. He looked at my astonished face with a mischievous smile, and he said, on a stationary cycle. So that was the type of humor that he had. So we were very fortunate to have him as a teacher, as a dean, and as Swati being such a close friend, as a friend's father whom we could approach for any talk, any advice that we required. And he always lived in the moment. And that is what I think that we have to learn from him. Live in the moment and live with joy. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you very much, sir. Uday Bodhankar, sir, are you there?
I think he kept a message that he will not be able to. Ajinkya Bhave, would you like to talk? Ajinkya is my elder son. He's done his PhD control system from Carnegie Mellon, but he always wanted to come back to India, and he's the regional head of Siemens. I can't see him here. Okay, Vikram, would you like to say something?
I'm here. I just don't have my camera on.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I think that holding the third inauguration, even though Azuba's no more, is the right thing, because I think that's what he would have wanted, as you said. So that's how I would have to remember him. I think more than mourn him, because that's not useful.
Your camera is not on.
I'll just see if my camera can be on. One second. How about now?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think mourning him is a waste of time, frankly, because that's not what he would have wanted. So the idea of creating this inauguration session and going forward with it, having him in our memory, I think it's the right way to respect him. And the oration by Dr. Ambedkar today was in that spirit, a very nice oration. So, there are a lot of memories, but I don't want to take up too much time. So I just feel that doing this and carrying this forward is the best way to remember my grandfather. I think that's what he would have wanted also. So thank you for organizing this to everybody. And thank you for all for being here. I think that's more of a tribute to his memory than anything else.
Thank you, Ajinkya. Any other family members? Sujata, is she there? Does she want to talk? Let me know.
Yeah, I'll ask her once.
Yeah. And Sangeeta Yadav. Sujata is my daughter-in-law, Ajinkya's wife, and a lawyer.
Hemant Doshi, sir, wants to.
Yeah, after Sujata, Hemant.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank Aki for organizing this program. And yes, like my mother-in-law just said, to talk about Dr. Azoba, Dr. R.D. Lele. I am a lawyer, and when he spoke to me, he spoke like a judge. Although he was a lawyer, but the talk that he had with me was like a lawyer or a judge. So we remember him very fondly today. And I would like to thank Dr. Ambedkar. We've heard a lot about you from my family, and today I got to hear about the compassion that you have for your work. Thank you.
Thank you, Sujata. Hemant Joshi.
Unmute, please. Sir, unmute kara.
Right. To me, RD stands for research and development. So whenever we dream of sir, think of sir, listen to him, we always think of researching things from ancient Indian and modern science, develop it and reach it to masses. He did MBBS in Urdu. So I want all of us colleagues, and then did become Padma Shri. We all must translate our knowledge in our languages and become Padma Shri like him. And I'm sure Putrit Ichet Parajayam, Swati, the children, Swati and her brother will supersede their daddy. We know that they're doing it. All the best. Thank you.
It's not possible to supersede him, but he will come to some level also. We are ready.
He'll be happy. And happy birthday.
Thank you, Hemant. wants to, Sangeeta Yadav?
Ma'am, unmute please.
Very good afternoon. Thank you very much, first of all, for giving me this opportunity to be part of this wonderful oration program as every year. And virtually, I'm seeing you all for the first time on the Happy New Year. Happy New Year to all. And we all have a healthy and a wonderful life. And especially Dr. Bhave, happy birthday to you. And best of health and best of life to you. And have a joyful day and a day well begun. And my regards to Sir Mr. Bhave. And I've had a very close association with the family, though I have never been directly student of Dr. Lele, but I have visited that Grant Medical College for a professional purpose, and I've specially witnessed that whole Grant Medical College. And it is those are people are lucky who have been his student. And I really admire the way the Lele and the Bhave family are taking his legacy forward. And everyone has been contributing in whichever field they have excelled. And Dr. Upender, guest of honor, gave a wonderful speech related to this topic, as well as Dr. Bakul Parekh also, as a chief guest, brought in so many good points. And of course, the icing on the cake is Dr. Ambedkar, who for the first time I'd seen him in 1988 when he was Secretary IAP. And we were very much impressed and enamored by him. And definitely you pick up a lot of finer points when you see these role models in front of you on the stage and all. And I know he's been grooming Dr. Bhave also in the IAP, and even outside the IAP, he has been supporting and facilitating her. And I have been associated with this AKI also ever since its inception when Dr. Bhave was here in Delhi. We all used to be there together. And I admire the way she and her family has taken it forward. And जैसे होता है ना एक धागा है उसमें मोती पिरोए जा रहे हैं. That's what has happened. And after she's shifted to Pune, all this wonderful young generation, Dr. Sameer Shah, Dr. Sandeep, and Dr. Prashant, they've all come on board together with her to take it forward as a part of this legacy which she has created, and we are all part of it. Thank you very much, Dr. Swati Bhave and Mr. Bhave, and for giving me this opportunity to be part of this whole program as well as part of the AKI. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sangeeta. Whoever wants to speak, just put up your hands or put in the chat box.
Dr. Datta Kadam sir want to speak.
Yes.
Sir, please go ahead.
Yes. Hello.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah. On behalf of Marathwada AKI Center, we pay a rich tribute to the memories of Hardy Lele sir, and I think it was a good gesture to keep this oration on, especially on the Swati's birthday. So wishing you best wishes for the happy birthday too. Thank you.
Thank you. Datta is a batchmate. We did DCS together, and he's very ably heading the AKI Marathwada Regional Center. Thank you, Datta.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody else would like to say something? So shall we call it a day now?
Let's have two young people can speak, Prashant Kari and Sandeep Kavde.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so thank you so much. It was really wonderful to listen to all.
Your connection
Prashant,
is
just switch off your video.
Glad that we spent.
Prashant, switch off your videos. Yeah. You can fit.
Yeah. We are glad that we spend a day with ma'am today on her birthday. So
Yeah,
wishing Swati Bhava ma'am a happiest birthday today. Again,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you.
This is the third year of our oration, and it is an honor. Each year we are getting speakers par excellence in their field, and each session is a treasure trove of knowledge from Sowani madam to Kanitkar madam and today Amdekar sir. So, because of their love for Lele sir, Bhave ma'am, we get this opportunity, and indeed we are fortunate to be part of these programs. So, thank you Samir sir and all Aki team for this, and happy birthday to ma'am on this special day, and my best wishes. Thank you.
Vikram, would you like to say something? Okay, Ishwaran, my batchmate, would you like to say something? I'm just seeing names and then calling Shailaja Mane. Are you there? You and Vijay, would you like to say something?
Dr. Ishwaran.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a psychiatrist.
Yeah, it's a great honor. I'm connected with you after a long time.
Yeah.
And, Dr. Lele, he's fantastic. The old memories you triggered. You gave an excellent resume of what the man was. A great admirer. Thankful to you. Enjoyed the program, Dr. Amdekar. Again, as his usual style, beautifully justified the topic that you did. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ishwaran. Anybody else is here? Bhupendra Kapadia?
Madam. Hello.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Amazing oration, madam. I was having difficulty in joining initially. So we have listened from the joining of Tuesday only. But sir had pointed out many.
Ishwaran, can you please mute? Thank you.
Many practical points sir had highlighted, which we feel that we all must sincerely follow it, and I will definitely try to follow it. And thanks a lot, madam, for taking all the efforts, Team Aki, along with you, for making this oration a grand success. Wish you a very, very happy birthday. Wish you a very happy, healthy, long life, madam. You are we are so much happy to be associated with you, and you are role model. And we have listened from many other senior peoples for whom Dr. Lele sir was role model. So we could listen, we could hear so many different aspects of sir also. That was also amazing part of it. Thank you, madam. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations to all.
Thank you. Shama Kulkarni, you want to say something? Dr. Palek, you already put it on the website, but if you want to say a few words. Yes, Shama.
Yes. Thank you so much for giving us feast of knowledge. It was wonderful oration, and it was great to listen to Ambedkar sir. And I remember Dr. Lele as my husband's teacher. And once he had stayed with us, and he was so well disciplined and so nice as a person and as a teacher. I have seen very closely. And my husband used to tell many things about him. So he was a great personality, great loving teacher, affectionate teacher, and wonderful person. So thank you very much, and many happy returns of the day. We wonderful years ahead and many more to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Atul Doshi, I made a suggestion of adding NLP. Atul Doshi, I'm an NLP master trainer. And when we do Aki programs, we put a lot of NLP principles. So thank you for the suggestion. Dr. Pale wanted to say.
Good morning. Wish you a very, very happy birthday, first of all.
Thank you, sir.
And it was a wonderful presentations, and especially by all the guests. And the whole idea of integrative approach to medicine was wonderful. And the whole philosophy of medicine was presented by Dr. Ambedkar was really an eye-opener. It was a wonderful thing. And as far as Dr. Lele is concerned, it's a great thing to remember him, his association. For such a long time we had with him. We always cherish his memory, and it is really wonderful. And sometimes I feel that we should start something to make this integrative approach the way of life for medicine and medicine learning. and we should do something more in the direction. After listening to these pediatricians, I think every other field also, such a approach is needed. That's what I feel. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Dr. Pale. Please start it. We will join you.
Thank you.
Dr. Gupta.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for taking my suggestion for that, because I also took the training for NLP and emotional intelligence, and I felt it's very useful during for patient counseling and even for self-management. And it was a
Excellent.
wonderful talk by sir, and I learned a lot of things. Happy birthday, ma'am.
Thank you, Atul. Dr. Vijay Mane. Okay, so now I want to give my heartfelt thanks to our Aki Trimurti, Dr. Samir Shah. He's made this oration a state of art. In this third year, I have nothing to do. It's done like clockwork. And our two other things which form the Trimurti, Sandeep and Prashant, were always there. And all three of them have taken Aki to a new height with their technological skills and their youth and dynamism. And I'm really thank Aki on Aki's behalf, all three of them, and for ClearNet for providing this wonderful and very smooth digital platform and taking care of all the registrations. Okay, so last 5 minutes, anybody there? Dr. Takwani, Dr. Bhupendra Kapadia. Who else wants to speak?
Hello, good afternoon, madam.
Yeah. Yes, speak. Who is speaking? I think it's gone. Okay, so Yashwant, as the chairman, your last message, and then Samir will wind up. Vikram, are you there or gone?
Frankly, I have nothing more to add because so much has been said. My excellent sort of tips, Amdekar, of course, but his practical tips have been most valuable. So I thank Dr. Amdekar again and Bakul Bhai as well as Upendra for their presence on a Sunday morning. Their family time, and that has given gravitas to this third. Thank you all, and thank you all the participants for gracing this. Samir, Sandeep, Prashant, they have been the pillars of our organization and also projecting it in all the fora. Thank you all.
Uday, are you still there or gone? Uday wanted to say something. Sampada Tambolkar, are you there? Okay, so I think Samir, you can wind up.
Yes, so once again, thanks to all. Since morning, I am speaking a lot, so nothing much to speak, but it's a really an honor to become a part and parcel of this third oration also. It is improving my digital screen skill also on, and digital screen presentation also on and on. So thanks a lot, madam, for giving this opportunity to become a part and parcel of this oration. Being a Aki volunteer, it's a really always pleasure to work with you all, specifically Swati Bhawe madam, because she is mentoring a lot to me since I joined to the Aki. Since 2019, I am working, and we almost getting some phone call with each other and getting new and new comments with each other and talking with each other. So it's a good learning process for me to learn along with the Aki other volunteers. Thanks, and we are really humble to the each and every participant who joined and spent valuable Sunday morning specifically with for this oration. And the recording will be definitely available very soon on the YouTube of the Aki, and we will share the link of that. Thanks a lot once again. Thank
Dr. Sondhi is here. If she wants to speak, I'm just checking over there. Dr. Sondhi, and who else is here? I think, yeah. Okay. Archana, तुला काही बोलायचं आहे last? Okay, thank you. So Samir, you can end up.
Yeah, so we can just ending this session, and I thank sincerely to the clarinet and specifically Faraz for remaining continuously remain present, though it's not his cup of tea for the hearing this oration, but his presence is continuously there. He's not at all gone a single minute out. Immediately responded very well to my any queries. Thanks, Faraz, and thanks,
Faraz,
clarinet.
excellent job. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, sir. It was my great pleasure to be a part of this. Thanks
Thank you.
again.
Thank you.
So we can end the meeting now, Faraz. We can
Faraz?
stop present.
Okay,
And
we
you
are
can
close.
share the YouTube link for us. So
Yes,
we'll
ma'am,
put it on the
definitely.
various groups.
Happy birthday once again.
Thank you. Thank you.